Hey everyone, and welcome back to the RedBeard Outdoors podcast. I'm Jonathan, your host, and here at RedBeard Outdoors, I talk to you about faith, family, fitness, and the outdoors. And on Mondays, I get to talk to you about the gear I use, have used, what I like, what I dislike, and I love to scratch that itch, guys. I am a gear junkie. I really enjoy learning about things that work, things that don't work, and sharing that with you so that you can know whether or not it's worth the cry once, buy once mentality, whether that's going to fit your needs, and kind of how I use different items of gear and how that can help you make your decisions. Some of these places, you can only buy them online, so it's hard to not get your hands on the item before you purchase it, especially when you're dropping some good money on it. So today we're going to talk about boots and some of my favorite boots that I've used up to this point in my hunting career, what I've used in the past and what didn't work, and what I ended up upgrading to, and what I look forward to using as well, because I will be using some different boots here in the near future as well, testing them out and seeing what works for me. So with that being said, today I'm going to talk to you about my experience with boots. So it started with when I first started hunting. I did the thing where, and I recommend this to people, that you suffer a little bit. You don't necessarily go in, unless you can, and it won't break your bank. I don't necessarily recommend going in and buying the best gear right off the market. I recommend using what you got and seeing if you enjoy the experience of hunting, getting out in the mountains, and not necessarily going and spending a ton of money if you can't afford it. If you can, great. Go out, buy the top of the line gear, and you'll love it even more. For me, I was running some, at the time it seemed expensive, pair of boots, but they were Keens, Keen. And the reason why I was wearing Keens was because we did a lot of hiking, and Keen is a great brand, but they have a very soft sole. And they also have a wide toe box, which for me, if you guys haven't heard me say it before, you'll hear me say it repeatedly. I have a fat foot. I got a wide foot, and there's not very many shoes or boots that really fit me without rubbing my pinky toe or the outsides of my feet. And even the ones that have a wide toe box, generally I still have to get the wide selected boot. So I was running Keens, and I did that for a while. I want to say it was 2 years. And when I first started hunting. So again, I started with rifle hunting, deer, going out, just spending time with friends, backpacking as well. All of these things, put some good miles on my Keens, and then they started to wear out. And I did notice foot fatigue when I had some weight on my back. Again, that's got to do with the softer sole. Those boots aren't necessarily made to put 100 pounds on your back and hike through the mountains. They're great for hiking, but it's not really good for carrying weight, those boots. So I was noticing that, and I was starting to do some research as I noticed the boots were wearing out and what I wanted to get into for my next pair of boots. So for me, my next pair of boots was a pair of Crispis. And the reason why I went with Crispis, because I tried on a couple different sets of boots, and they were all just, again, super narrow, guys. There's great companies out there. There really are. But all the other ones that I noticed, they were super narrow. And they didn't offer a wide enough toe box for me personally. And so I had to shy away from a lot of them. Or the ones that did fit me, like the Keens, had too soft of a sole for what I was looking. So I, of course, got introduced to Crispi. And my very first pair of boots... Actually, I bought 2 pair of boots. This was last year? Or was it 2 years ago? I can't remember. Maybe it was 2020. It's either 2020 or 2021. I ordered, I'm just trying to think here, guys. Now, you guys are going to be like, what is he doing? Maybe it was last year. It was for my birthday. So it was right after Elk Shape Camp. And there was some discount that they were running over at Black Ovis, plus the elk shape discount. And I went and picked up my first 2 pairs of boots. I narrowed it down to the Colorados and the Attivas. So the Attiva mids, not the lows. And the reason why I picked these 2 boots was because I wanted to have a softer sole, almost like a shoe boot, kind of like my Keens, that I could go out and hike with the family and have some good tread and be able to use these during the summer and hiking months. And then when I wanted to throw some weight on my back, I wanted to have the stiffer sole of the Colorados, a little bit higher boot, and they have that ankle, the ABB or the ABSS system. So the ankle support system that will give you a lot better support on your ankles, so you're not rolling your ankles when you're carrying heavy weight. So let's start with the Attivas. So these are great. I mean, they're basically a regular hiking boot. They flex pretty well. They have a wide toe box. They do not make these in a wide. So I'm going to start with the things that I didn't like about this boot, that I don't like about this boot, because I absolutely love this boot. But one of the things that I don't like is that I still get a little bit of rubbing on my pinky toe, just barely. And it's only when I'm doing a lot of downhill hiking. If I'm going uphill or flat, I don't notice it at all. But if you guys have a wide foot, I may not even recommend the Attivas until they make a wide. And I don't know, maybe they do now. But these, if you don't have a super wide foot, or if you do have a slightly wide foot, these would be great. Again, they are super flexible. They've got good treads. I mean, that's after 2 years, almost 2 years of use on these boots. All right, and they've still got really good treads. I like that they're flexible, super lightweight, breathable. There's good breathability all through here. You've got the vents. This is a breathable fabric, and it's a little bit of a kind of a rough covering here for your toe, so you don't get all skinned up on rocks, etc. And then, of course, they have the lacing system, the quick lace system. You just pinch here, and you pull up and down, so you don't have to sit there and tie your boots, etc. But I really like these boots, and these are my boots for when I'm out hiking with my family. I don't have much more than 20 pounds on my back, just a regular backpack, and just getting out with the family. That's the main reason why I have the Attivas. Again, I absolutely love these guys. They won't break the bank if you're just looking for a good hiking boot. They also make a low version of this if you're not into the mid hikers. If you want a lower version, then you can go find the low version as well. They have different colors. I went with the gray. May not look gray anymore. It's a little dirty, but you can tell I really like to clean up my boots afterwards. I definitely don't take care of my boots the way that I probably should. But anyway, the Attivas are great, guys. Highly recommended if you're looking for a lightweight hiker, a mid or a low hiker, something that you're not going to be carrying a lot of weight on your back. Then I went with the Colorados for my other boot. And I kind of went over some of the reasons why. But as you can see, these are a little bit more water resistant. They're not as breathable. They're still pretty breathable, but they're not as water resistant. They have a thicker sole, and it's super. I'm putting a lot of pressure there, guys. It's a lot more stiff. I can't remember the flex rating, if this is a 3 or a 4 on their scale of 5, but it's definitely a lot more stiff of a boot. It's taller, so you get a little bit more protection up on your ankles. You get that ABSS system, which you guys can look that up. The ABSS system basically allows it to compress your ankle a little bit better, give it more stability, so as you're going over deadfall, you're carrying heavy things, your ankles don't give out on you, and you don't get a sprained ankle. So the things that I love about this boot, again, it's stiff, it's got good treads. Now, again, that's after 2 years of use. They're starting to get worn down just a little bit. And these are the Colorado 1s. So I haven't tested the Colorado 2s yet. There's not a ton of change. I know they made a little bit of changes here to the Gore-Tex to make it more resistant to being worn out. And these are obviously have been used quite a bit. I've put these through snow, water. My feet have never gotten wet in these, and I've put them, like I said, through snow and water. My feet do get a little cold. They're not insulated. And they get a little cold if I'm sitting still for a while after I've been hiking. But if I'm out hiking in the snow, I don't notice the cold at all. Again, carrying weight with these, I notice a significant difference, guys, with having that stiffer sole on the Colorados. There's a significant difference between these boots and the Keens that I was wearing before when I was packing out weight. these just, I don't get the foot fatigue that I get with a softer sole boot. That's just the facts of it. So I would highly recommend, if you are having issues with maybe ankle stability, or you're noticing foot fatigue when you're carrying heavy weight on your back, I would recommend these highly. So these not being in the wide, I do get a little rubbing again on downhills with these, just on my pinky toe. I don't notice any issues on my big toe, on the top there. And I've talked with them. Obviously, once you put them through their paces, you can't necessarily send them back. So I haven't sent these back, obviously, because they're disgusting, because I have put them through so many things out in the mountains. But they do give me a little bit of rubbing on the outside on my pinky toe. So when I go for the Colorado 2s or a different boot, I'm definitely going to be going for the wide, because they do offer these in the wide. These are not in the wide particularly. But again, guys, I love this boot. My feet sweat a lot. So I don't like to run insulated boots necessarily, unless I'm going to be freezing in the mountains. And I know I'm going to be freezing or sitting for a while. I don't run insulated boots. So these have done amazing. They've been through the Teton Mountains. They've been on backpacking trips. They've been on mini hunting adventures through the snow, through creeks, and they have just done great work. So I highly recommend the Colorados. They're also mildly priced as far as Crispies go. They're not going to break the bank. They're not the higher upper level of Crispies. But again, just great overall boots. So I would definitely look at the Colorado 2s. I'll give you guys some more feedback on those whenever I do run some Colorado 2s and get them in the wide to see if it makes that difference. Because again, I don't want to go a half size bigger, because I feel like I don't need the extra space up front. It's just on this pinky toe right here. So that's just kind of a heads up for you guys out there with the wide feet like me. Other than that, again, it's got a great stiff sole. I mean, I don't feel rocks through the soles. That's the worst feeling in the world when you're hiking out with a ton of weight on your back and you have to go over some rocks or sticks, and feeling that through the sole is just awful. So the material that they've done here with the soles of these boots are just fantastic. And then last but not least, so this year, these are going to look a little bit fresher than my other ones because I got them this year. These are the Laponia 2s. And I was a little iffy about ordering these just because I wanted to try some other ones as well. I didn't necessarily want the Laponias, but when I saw the Laponia 2 came out, they upgraded this Gore-Tex here to be a little bit more abrasion resistant. It's a little bit stiffer as well. And this is I want to say this is a 2 flex rating. So it's stiffer than the Attivas, but not as stiff as the Colorados. And I got these in the wide. So it's a little bit wider of a toe box. And again, it's a lighter boot. So if you pick up these two boots, the Colorado versus the Laponias, you'll notice these are a lot lighter. The intention behind these boots were for kind of an early season mule deer hunt, or for my spring hunts that I've got coming up. They've got, again, this lining goes all the way around the boot, which is outstanding. It's abrasion resistant. It's just great overall. And I love the lacing system that goes all the way out to the toes, so you can widen it if you need to. The treads are awesome. And of course, these are going to look a little bit better than the other ones because I've had these just for, it's been about 5 months. And yeah, I got them in the gray and the wide. So what I've noticed with these, and I've packed out some heavy weight with these. I put these through the snow as well. I've put these through water, and they've done fantastic. I don't get the rubbing on the outside of my toe, on my pinky toe with these. These are the same size boots as the other ones, except I got these in the wide. And I don't get that rubbing. And my feet don't slide forward and back, which is also really nice because if you get a little size too big, going up and downhill, you get some rubbing, which causes blisters, which I haven't encountered with these at all. Again, no rubbing on the toes. And And it's still a stiff enough boot that, again, guys, I've carried out some heavyweight with these. I've packed out many animals. This was actually my main boot this year that I used, rotated between these and the Colorados for hunting. But this was my main boot, and I didn't feel any foot fatigue. I felt like I had great traction, and it was a lighter boot. So overall, I really like the Laponia IIs. If you're looking for a boot that isn't too stiff, but stiffer than just a regular hiking boot, it's a little bit taller than a regular hiking boot, so you get a little bit more ankle protection. It does not have that ABSS system in it, so it doesn't have that ankle brace system in it. I don't necessarily suffer from weak ankles, so I'm not 100% concerned about that. If I was going over maybe some more deadfall on a consistent basis or worried about rolling my ankle, I may want to go more towards that ABSS system. This doesn't have it in there. So again, guys, it's been through some amazing situations, again, with water, snow. My feet didn't get cold unless I was sitting still. Again, these are not insulated. And outside of that, guys, I don't really have much other feedback on these specifically. It's a great boot. Again, one of their lighter weight boots, still stiffer than a regular hiker, but I'd go hiking in these. I didn't use these for hiking with the family just because they're a little bit not as breathable as the Attivas, but you can. If you're looking for a good overall boot, I would stick somewhere between the Laponias and the Colorados, 100% in my opinion. Other than that, guys, I just wanted to say, like, I've noticed with Crispi, the quality is there. They do some great work with their boots. They make sure that you're taken care of. Customer service is really good as well. You can order these through my link down below with Black Ovis, is where I usually get my Crispis from. Again, great company. You can go in and try on the Crispis as well if you're local here to Utah. Black Ovis is a great place to go and get your Crispis at. But other than that, guys, I don't really have much else to say on the boots that I've tried so far. I just know for me, I'm going to be sticking with Crispis moving forward. You probably did notice that I've taken out the inserts on these. I had some custom inserts made by a foot doctor, and I'm looking forward to trying out those, the sheep feet, because I do have a little bit of a higher arch that can collapse at times. So I'm working on building up that foot strength, but also having the custom orthotic has helped a ton with some of the other compensation that my feet was doing, or were doing. My feet were doing. But I'm looking forward to trying out the sheep feet as well here in the near future, just to see if there's a difference between sheep feet or the custom orthotic done by the foot doctor. So either way, guys, if you have any questions about Crispi boots, leave them down below. I'd love to hear your questions and to start a discussion about maybe your favorite boot. Again, there's a lot of boot companies that I can't even try because my feet are so narrow, but I'd love to know my feet are wide, and other boots are more narrow, the more of a Nike style boot, as far as the fitment is concerned. So if you're more into the other kinds of boots, I'd love to hear down below. Let's start a conversation in the comments and see what you're looking for in a boot. Are you looking for stiff? Are you looking for a softer boot? Are you looking for price? Are you looking for, the looks of it? Whatever it may be, guys, leave it down below. I'd love to hear it. And outside of that, hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And of course, get out, live your life, and love it.